Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here, and welcome back to a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing, ranking, and comparing all of the designs of the Destiny's Bounty, at least according to the Ninjago TV series. So of course, throughout Ninjago's run, the Destiny's Bounty has been the primary headquarters for the ninja. Sometimes it's not in a season at all, but most seasons do actually feature some type of appearance from a various, design for the Destiny's Bounty. Overall, in Ninjago's run, there has been 5 total designs, so I figured we would go ahead and rate every single design of the Destiny's Bounty in this video from worst to best, at least in terms of my own opinion. Now, like I just said, this is just my own opinion. This is not a fact, so feel free to go ahead and list your own, ranking for these Destiny's Bounty designs down below in the comments after the video is over. As another quick disclaimer, we are not going to be taking a look at any of the Ninjago sets for the bounty. My judgments will be purely based off of their designs as they appear in the series. So obviously, we're not talking about any of the sets. We're not talking about anything related to the Lego sets at hand. I cannot stress that enough. We are talking strictly about the designs in the TV series. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and rank all 5 Destiny's Bounty designs from worst to best. So right away at the bottom of the list, we have the most recent Destiny's Bounty design in the show, this being what I call the Legacy Bounty. This design for the Destiny's Bounty is obviously taking a lot of cues from a certain Legacy set that came out at the time, but the actual design itself, as translated into the show, looks pretty good. There's still not a Destiny's Bounty design that I downright hate. This one isn't bad by any means. It's just kind of my least favorite out of the 5 that we have right now. In a lot of ways, I don't really prefer this to the original Destiny's Bounty. This one just looks a little smaller, looks a little less impressive than some of the previous designs that we have seen in the show, so that's why it's in the number 5 spot. Of course, we have not really seen anything surrounding it in the show. It was in season 13 for a little bit, but it didn't have that much screen time. I'm hoping in future seasons maybe we can see a little bit more of what this bounty has to offer, and maybe this will go higher on my list due to those, various aspects that we might see in future seasons. But as it stands right now, this is the newest design for the Destiny's Bounty inside Ninjago, and it hasn't really had a chance to shine yet, so that's why it's in the number 5 spot on this list. It's simply my least favorite. I don't hate it, I don't dislike it. It's just simply average to me. Next up in the number 4 spot, we have the original Destiny's Bounty. This one is a classic, and this one is still obviously one that I enjoy very much, even though it is only in the number 4 spot. And this is primarily where we finally started to see the Destiny's Bounty shine as an actual ninja headquarters. The classic dragon head design is something that a lot of Ninjago fans can instantly recognize, and something that a lot of other bounties have admittedly not done as well. I feel like the dragon head design in this version of the bounty is the best out of all of them, just, in terms of my own opinion. But the actual shape of the bounty is still a little wonky to me. Sometimes the head appears to be bigger than it needs to be. Sometimes the cabin portion of the bounty seems very small, and unlike some other Destiny's Bounties on this list, the proportions on the inside of the bounty aren't really consistent, at least in terms of my own opinion. While watching the series, sometimes it's hard to tell where the ninja are in the bounty, and the bounty itself sometimes feels way too small to contain everything that we've seen on the interior. So just a minor nitpick on my end, this bounty is still super great, and this is also the first Destiny's Bounty, again, that we ever saw in the series. So I really enjoy this classic Destiny's Bounty, but it's only 4th on my list, so let's get into some other designs that I like a little bit more. Next up in the number 3 spot, we have the Black Bounty. Now this is the exact same shape, the exact same structure, the exact same everything as the original Destiny's Bounty, with one exception. It's painted a dark red and black color scheme to better represent Garmadon's evil intentions with it. Obviously, this bounty is a result of Garmadon reconstructing the original Destiny's Bounty after it was destroyed by the Great Devourer. At the beginning of season 2, Garmadon used this bounty as a headquarters for himself and his new Serpentine army, and as such, the color scheme had to better replicate the evilness of Garmadon, if you will. And that's really something that I enjoy about this design. I feel like overall the actual aesthetic of the bounty has not changed. It's still there. Everything from the original is still intact here. The only difference is the colors. So depending on whether or not you like a lighter color scheme or a darker, more sinister color scheme, that will probably determine where these guys are placed on your specific list. For me, I like the evil design a little bit more than the original, so that's why it's in the number 3 spot. Otherwise, other than that, everything else is just the exact same. Next up in the number 2 spot, we have the Destiny's Bounty 2.0. Now, I do need to point out something. Technically, every single bounty that came after this one is still the Destiny's Bounty 2.0, just redesigned. I'm not really going to call them that. This, to me, is the only example of the Destiny's Bounty 2.0. This thing just looks like an updated and more sleek and modernized version of the original Destiny's Bounty, which, of course, was designed for an older time period. This one here was actually rebuilt by Nia primarily and a few other supporting cast members during Ninjago's 4th season, and it was pretty much the ninja's primary bounty especially during Season 5. Overall, this bounty is, again, a lot more slick than the original. I prefer the sail design to this one over the original as well. The cabin shape is a lot more clean. The actual thrusters look a lot better to me. The only thing that I don't really like is the dragon head. It doesn't really look so much like a dragon as it does just, something else that you would find on a boat. It does not look like a dragon to me in the slightest, but that's really my only nitpick here. The Destiny's Bounty 2.0 is still very slick, very clean, and overall a nice update to the original without taking too much away. Overall, I feel like this thing shines on its own in a very specific modernized light while still paying a large amount of tribute to the original Destiny's Bounty. I feel like this is a respectful successor to the original with a few updated designs to fit the modern day aesthetic, and that's why it's in the number 2 spot on this list. And finally, my all-time favorite Destiny's Bounty design should not be a surprise to most of you guys that know me. It is the movie-style Destiny's Bounty. Now, of course, once the Ninjago movie came out and redesigned pretty much everything, the actual show itself took a lot of influence from the movie and changed up a lot of the designs present within the TV series itself, and the Destiny's Bounty was no exception to that rule. At some point during the Ninjago time skip in between seasons 7 and 8, the Destiny's Bounty 2.0 was kind of redesigned to fit more in line with the Ninjago movie, of course adopting a more movie-style design, which I absolutely love. I love the bounty design in the movie. I feel like that's a very elegant and beautiful design for the Destiny's Bounty, and the actual show counterpart is no exception. I love the twin dragon heads at the front. The shape isn't something I'm crazy about, but I love the fact that there are 2 of them there. The sails look amazing. I love the designs on the sails. The cabin itself is very clean. It's probably the cleanest cabin design that we've seen for the bounty, just overall, I'd say. The actual command center is great. Overall, there's just a lot going on here, and it definitely feels a lot bigger in shape and style than the original as well. I feel like the proportions on this thing are a little bit better than the original bounty, and overall, I absolutely adore this thing. The thrusters are something that I'm not so used to. I feel like the thruster design on the original is better than this one, but the rest of the movie-style bounty just blows all the other design aspects of the other bounties out of the water, at least in terms of my own opinion. Overall, the movie-style Destiny's Bounty is my favorite Destiny's Bounty design of all time, and part of me is kind of sad that this isn't the primary design that we see in this show anymore, but it was pretty much the design that we saw for the bounty in between seasons 8 and 12, so at least we had a good run, and all things considered, this is still my favorite design for the bounty, hence why it's in the number 1 spot on this list. So that'll pretty much do it for my thoughts on all of the Destiny's Bounties. I've ranked all of them worst to best, and now it's time for you guys to leave your own rankings down below in the comments. Let me know which Destiny's Bounty design is your favorite and which one is your least favorite, and what did you think of my list? What did you think of my reasonings? Leave all your thoughts down below, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.